Mostly in West LA and the San Fernando Valley. The disease can be treated with antibiotics. There have been no reports of humans contracting the disease. Let's check in on some traffic trouble. We've got issues on the 5.
In Boyle Heights, this is on the 5 southbound at 4th Street. Cleanup crews from an earlier crash, taking up the 2 left lanes there. Your drive is starting to stack up right around the 10. And in Boyle Heights, this is in Pomona, we have a work zone. 71 southbound from the 60 to the 91. All lanes are going to be shut down for road work until 4 in the morning. In Westminster, this is on the 405 southbound at Bolsa Chica. A little fender bender there, taking up the carpool in 3 left lanes. Your drive is starting to slow up right around the 22. KFI and the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Vance.
And the temperatures keep soaring. That's next.
Contractor license 1047-781.
Imagine running a marathon in the desert in the summer. And this marathon doesn't have a finish line. In this marathon, you run till you drop. It's called the Air Conditioner Marathon. In places like Minneapolis or Portland, or any of them other places where it don't get real hot, air conditioners can last 20 years or more. But down here where birds burst into flames in midair and fall down fully roasted from the skies, Zach, yep, what are you doing? I'm helping people understand this ain't important. Here in the desert, air conditioners last about 11 years. But you don't have to spend money on a snowblower, or salt for that icy sidewalk, or windshield de-icer for your car. Zach, I don't think they need any of those things in Portland. Did I say Portland? I meant to say Minneapolis. A new AC from Gettle will keep your home cooler and use a lot less energy. So if you think your AC might be about ready to go to air conditioner heaven, call Gettle. G-O-E-T-T-L. Will keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
You don't want to mess with the IRS. They have the power to garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. That's all true. But thankfully, they're offering a way out. The Fresh Start Initiative. If you qualify, you could save thousands. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best deal possible. And they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Call Optima for your free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Find the employees you need to get your business moving. Sign up with iHeartAdBuilder.com and create a custom radio ad to reach job seekers listening to stations just like this one. Get started today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
They forge the bonds that keep democracy alive, and they represent American values wherever they go. They are the men and women of the U.S. Department of State. Join them and start an exciting career that can take you anywhere as you protect the interests of Americans everywhere. Visit careers.state.gov.
Why won't a plumber just tell me what it costs to unclog my drain over the phone? Is it that complicated?
No, it's not. It makes no sense at all. They obviously have a price.
Whoa, you've got a nice aroma. Who are you?
Mike Diamond, the Smell Good plumber.
Will you tell me how much to unstop my drain?
$99.
But you haven't seen it.
Don't need to. Doesn't matter if it's a kitchen sink or a mainline sewer stoppage. The Smell Good plumbers at Mike Diamond will unclog almost any drain for $99.
Almost?
Yeah, there are a few exceptions, but you can read all about them on our website before you call. Just go to thesmellgoodplumber.com.
Wow, you're like up front and everything. I just called a guy named Bubba who wouldn't tell me anything.
No Bubba's here, ma'am. Just professional plumbers who show up on time, smell good, and unclog drains for $99.
Call us. 1-800-446-MIKE. Contractor license number 399170.
It's hot. It's humid. You wanted a relaxed pool party / barbecue. You got the human tsunami instead.
Cannonball!
Today, he's going for a world record splash that'll send inflatable swans into orbit. Dripping wet, you grab a nice cold can of Heineken.
Watch out!
When another man-child-made wave embraces you.
Incoming!
It's okay, though. He's not splashing you. He's adding more refreshment to your refreshment. Heineken. Where others see annoying splashers, we see immediate refreshment. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy responsibly.
Southland weather from KFI. For Monday, sunny skies with highs from the low to mid-70s. At the beaches, mid-80s to 90 inland, highs in the 80s and 90s for the valleys. Highs in the 80s for the inland OC, highs in the 90s for the IE. Taking you through temperatures that we are seeing in the Southland. It looks like over in Newport Beach, it's 70 degrees, Dana Point 68, Santa Fe Springs 76, and in Pasadena at 78. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, I'm Claudette Stefanian.
Everyone, you're in the right place at the right time. This is Coast to Coast AM, blasting out of the Mojave Desert like a Scirocco, blazing across the land, slamming into your radio like a supercharged nanoparticle of unobtainium. Greetings from the boldest, bawdiest, most outrageous city in the world, the planetary capital of sun, fun, sin, sex, and secrets. My not-so-humble hometown, Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is George Napp, your occasional host, designated driver of the airwaves and moderator of tonight's upcoming cacophonous cavalcade of conversation. Thanks for joining us. What's shaking out there? We are still baking and broiling here in the desert. Got a little toasty again today, not fit outside for man nor beast. So good time to stay indoors, in your truck or in your car, in the air conditioning. And we will help you pass the time for the next 4 hours with scintillating stories about original investigations into the unknown. Two great guests, both highly respected in their fields. In the second half tonight, one of my media brethren, one of the best, if not the best, investigative reporters in Australia, in Australian TV. Ross Coulthart has worked for 60 Minutes, Down Under. He's won pretty much every prestigious broadcasting award available in that country, has chased organized crime, he's exposed scandals. He's stuck his neck way out to dig up stories that people didn't want to have exposed, and he's lived to tell about it. For some time now, he's been focused his considerable skills on the UFO-UAP story, or mystery, or stories, plural. Like many in his profession, he began as a skeptic about these subjects, but that's not how he's ended up. He's written a thorough and provocative account about where we are now, and it's taken him down some pretty deep rabbit holes to places that we discussed here from time to time, everything from UFOs and nukes to secret programs, Area 51, Skinwalker Ranch, the Tic Tac and the Nimitz, TTSA and Tom DeLonge, names you would recognize: Bigelow, Elizondo, astronaut Ed Mitchell, Carter, Reagan, Clinton, Bush, the CIA, the NSA, NIDS, BASS, and other acronyms, and an attempt to figure out how all of these might fit together. It's a terrific piece of work from a world-class journalist. And I know you're going to hear from Ross and what he has to say, including some juicy items that he has not made public until tonight. But first, we ride along on a 60-plus year journey with one of the most experienced, most respected paranormal pursuers in the country. This guy started chasing flying saucers back in 1959 while he was just a youngster. That early interest led Stan Gordon to a ringside seat for some of the most perplexing cases and mysteries of all time. And it led him to unexpected places, too, from UFOs to Bigfoot, and then to what you'd call cryptid creatures, folklore and legends that turned out not to be mythological at all, but to be real. Stan has spent decades trying to figure out how or if all these things tie together. So strap in for that one coming up in just a few minutes. By the way, if you're out and about tonight, maybe listening to the program while underneath the stars somewhere, keep an eye out for meteors. The Perseid meteor shower is still underway and viewable here in North America. We get some great views of space rocks flaming across the skies out here in the Mojave, so keep your eyes to the skies, folks. On this date, by the way, 25 years ago today, something of note happened here in the West. A Las Vegas businessman named Robert Bigelow hopped on his plane, flew to Vernal, Utah, drove down the road a piece to meet with a property owner and his wife. The guy owned a 480-acre ranch where strange things had been happening for months, maybe years, and before he left, Bigelow cut a deal to buy this property, a place that later would be known as Skinwalker Ranch, 25 years ago today. Bigelow owned the property, as you probably know, for 20 years and sold it to Brandon Fugel, who's expanded the investigation, got a TV show on the air. We had Brandon here a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully there's going to be an update on that coming soon. Our webmaster, Lex Lonehood, and I
have pulled together our usual assortment of items and oddities culled from various media sources around the world. We call it Napp's News. You can find it on the Coast to Coast AM website. Among the stories there tonight, if you've got nothing better to do for the next year or so, how about being locked down in a NASA facility designed to look like an outpost on Mars? NASA wants to put a team into a Martian outpost and see how they do for the long term. We have a link to the story and how you can apply, and I'd say if any Coast listener gets chosen for that, we'll have to do interviews before and after, then ask you to take some notes during that adventure. We have a pair of UFO stories, UAP stories, both of which deal with the politics and difficulties of disclosure. One of those stories is from the Washington publication The Hill, which reports that the lack of honesty about UFOs is a holdover from the darkest days and paranoia of the Cold War. And there is an up-to-the-minute look also about what might be the landing spot for a new UFO UAP study program. Might it end up inside the Space Force? I think there's a pretty good chance that decision may have already been made, though no one's going to say that on the record right now. Also in Napp's News, an update from Mystery Wire about animal mutilations. Those cases are still happening. They're still popping up, most recently in the Pacific Northwest. There's been more than 10,000 of them over the years. No one's ever been caught, and no one's really been able to figure them out. But we explore one possible angle. Those stories and more in Napp's News, and while you're on the website, check out how to become a Coast Insider. If you subscribe for a year, the cost is 15 cents a day. Gives you access to a huge archive of programs and interviews, including the Art Bell Vault. You can listen as often as you want, anytime you want. It's a great deal. Ditto for George Norrie's television program, Beyond Belief. George engages with fascinating guests and explores intriguing subjects similar to what he does here on the radio. Subscriptions are available. With that, let's assume the position. Bring in the dog and the cat and the family goat. Put on a pot of joe. Slide your body into those silky summer jammies and your toes into your favorite bunny slippers. Plop yourself down in a comfy spot. Turn down the lights and crank up that radio because we're about ready to rumble. In a moment, Stan Gordon's long and winding road through a forest of paranormal mysteries. I'm George Napp, and this is Coast to Coast AM.
I'm blown away by Elysium.